Hey folks, this is Mike here with another NoScript video on Diablo III Reaper of Souls. So this is an interesting game because I bought it, I played it for a bit when it launched, and kind of gave up on it. You know, I was in the same boat as a lot of other people where I just didn't find this game all that great at launch. As someone who played a lot of Diablo 2, I liked a lot of the things they did in this game, but there's also a lot of things that I did not like. Now, I guess for those of you who may have a bit of an idea how Diablo 3 works, Season 12 just ended. I'm recording this on Monday, which is the day after the season ended, so, you know, hey, I have no seasonal characters at the moment. But this was my seasonal character. I picked up the expansion, I don't know, 8 weeks ago, 6 weeks ago maybe. And so in a very short period of time, I've put 30 hours into this game, which maybe not necessarily a good thing, but it is a good thing because, you know, obviously it's pretty addicting, pretty fun. But actually I've played with 2 characters, so add another 10 hours to that. So I spent a lot of time on this game in a very short period of time with these 2 characters. And, well, to give you an idea, I've got much less than that with these 3 guys combined, which are the characters I played with when the game first launched. So, the other nice thing here is the levels. Most of the levels are drastically different, which, again, that's all part of the changes. So, you know, the reason I went back into this was the expansion was on sale, the Necromancer character was on sale. As someone who has fond memories playing Diablo 2 with the Necromancer, I figured, pick him up, pick up the expansion, give this game another go, because I've heard a lot of great stuff about it. And obviously, if you look at how much time I spent playing this game very recently, yeah, it's definitely worth it, because they've done a lot of fantastic changes that have improved this game considerably. So, ooh. Alright, a lot of good stuff is happening here. Let's deal with some of these guys first. Then we'll look at some of these event things and all that fun stuff in just a second. So yeah, Diablo 3. You played it at launch, and you've kind of ignored it since launch. Like I said, they've done a huge amount of changes. And a lot of those are really changes that longtime fans of the series would definitely recognize, and not necessarily, you know, definitely fundamental changes to the game, but also more like changes, more changes that, you know, people who've played the originals would appreciate, especially. Oh man, I don't know if I'm gonna beat these guys in the time that I need to kill them. So I'm just gonna exploit the fact that I can make all these corpses explode, which will kill these guys very quickly. Hey! And I can do that. So I get double chests. So one of the great things is, well, a lot of this stuff is trash, so I'm not even going to be picking it up. I'll just pick it up for the resources. Anyways, yeah, so one of the big things that they've done is, you know, as someone who played a lot of Diablo 2, I'll keep saying this a lot, but, you know, as someone who played a lot of that game, one of the biggest memories that I have is running around doing boss runs, right? You want to get good items, you gotta do boss runs. And so, you know, what would happen is, well, some people run the map hacks, not necessarily because, yeah, it would give them unfair advantages or anything like that, because we're not talking about PvP at this point, right? We're talking about just PvE, doing boss runs with buddies and whatnot. But you know, a lot of people would run the map hack because it would give you an idea where the bosses were, right? You could just pop open your map, you'd see the whole map, you knew where to go, and it just made this game really fun to play. So that's kind of what's happening here when you launch the game in adventure mode. You know, the game basically opens up to you in such a way that you could go anywhere at any time, which is really fun. And there you go, that arrow just showed up. The objective is right down here. So I gotta kill this dude for my bounty, which obviously is going to be pretty easy now because I'm getting pretty high level. And then I have to kill off a couple more dudes, which shouldn't be too difficult if I can find dudes to kill. And there you go, we're done. Let's go back to town. Let's go ahead and say okay to that. Let's find the next objective. Go ahead and do that. So this feels like a better way to do, you know, one of the grindy things with it of the old game, which was just boss runs. So instead of strictly just doing boss runs, the bounties mix in some, usually 2 bosses, 2 story missions, and you know, maybe another boss, maybe a special event, or you know, something of the sort. And what's been really cool with that is I've wound up playing a lot of content that I either missed or just wasn't present, right? Because sometimes they do some special events with certain enemies and whatnot that you very much could have missed them or not even seen them in your playthrough. And so there's a lot of, you know, neat little side things, side quests, side missions, whatever, that I never wound up playing in my normal playthroughs. But because of this bounty mode, right, I wind up seeing them, which is really cool. You know, it's a nice touch. It's a nice way for me to get to experience a lot of content. So make our way up here. We gotta kill this dude, and then we gotta kill a handful of other guys. It's getting kind of ridiculous in terms of how easy it is to mow over people. If I went back maybe a week or 2, I wasn't killing these guys this quickly. However, I respect a lot of stuff. I got some new items very recently, and now I'm just mowing down guys. I'll spend a Paragon point too. So I think the Paragon system is also new. So this is also a cool mechanic. These are points that are account based and not character based. So, you know, the more you play the game, there's just a higher level everything becomes over time. And so I don't know if these carry over between seasons. I think they might. And if they do, well, god damn, that's a great way to get you started for your next season, because you get nice boosts, and it kind of encourages, you know, players to play more and more, which at least it gives you some sort of incentive to it gives you some sort of incentive slash bonus to actually be playing more and more. Because otherwise, you know, if you have a seasonal thing and, you know, all your stats and whatnot reset between each season, for someone like me who just doesn't care about leaderboards that much for this kind of game, that would be a bit of a bummer. However, now because some of these things can carry over, I don't really mind restarting, because I know that, hey, my Paragon points are going to come over. So, you know, I also know that my character is still valid for the next season, so that also, I guess, isn't that big of a thing. Ooh, special curse chest. Yeah, let's trigger that. I should be able to kill these guys pretty quickly. Like I said, I should be able to kill these guys pretty quickly, and there you go, we just did. Alright, let's get to the boss here. Ooh, special little dude. Oh, come on. Come back here. Yeah, exactly where I want him to be. Hey! That's a shit ton of gold. That's 2 million gold. XP stuff. Yeah, they just made this game really fun to play. You know, by throwing you a lot of just quick ways to level up. They give you an incentive to challenge yourself with difficulties, which is something that, at least previously, I'd say maybe not a huge reason to play on more difficult settings. Hey, they still have the hardcore mode, so those of you who like the extra challenge of permadeath, that's still a thing in this game, which is kind of cool. And you get some nice little extra banners and stuff to show off to your fellow Diablo fans who play this game a lot, as a way to kind of show people that, hey, I've played this in one life, haven't died, kind of deal. Yeah. Go ahead and just chill here in the corner. And kill this guy with ease. There we go. Get some of the loot here. Go back to town. I'll show you what the loot bonus looks like as well, because you get a pretty nice box of goodies when you finish one of the bounties. So the cool thing is these bounties, there's a bounty per chapter. So I just did or per act. So if you go to Act 2, 3, 4, each of the acts have their own set of bounties. Let's see, none of these are going to be good. Let's just go ahead and salvage all of that crap, just to give you an idea what kind of stuff you get here. So yeah, orange items obviously are really valuable. Crafting resources, usually get some gems. These look potentially good. Well, it doesn't look too bad, but I have set items, so I kind of don't care too much about that. Legendary bracer. May as well show you what these items look like. Bracer, bracer, bracer. If I went to the right place, let's look at bracers. I got these two. Got these. Nothing too fancy. Legendary wand and stuff. Let's look at the wands. I only have one here. It's not too bad. And staff. Oh, that's a low level staff. That's a high level version of it. So, you know, it kind of gives you an idea that you get some pretty good stuff now that, you know, I'm kind of late game and I have a set item. It's a bit less, you know, fancy, impressive to have that. But all of this set was one of the seasonal bonuses, so that's also another thing that kind of encourages you to start with new characters, go through a season, just because you get that extra little reward of having neat stuff. But of course my character, oh yeah, here we go. Here's all my items. Here's all my items that were seasonal items that now I have to reclaim and throw them in my non-seasonal stash. So I have to do that eventually. Can I just claim some of these? And then we'll just throw them all in a tab here. So I have a lot of high-level stuff that, you know, kind of hoarding a bit for now. Haven't taken the time to, you know, extract some of the powers and things to transfer them over. But now that the seasonal is actually over, let's go ahead and just deposit more of these. We'll have to play the organization game later on. But, yeah, so some of these seasonal things have been really, really fun. Like, just a lot of fun little missions. You know, you level up very quickly as you start playing on higher difficulties. If I actually do leave game here, if you leave a game, you can come back, do a new set of bounties as well, which is super cool. So if you want to level up very quickly, obviously there's some challenge rifts if you're into that kind of stuff as well, which are even more modes. So right now I'm running 100% extra X speed. Someone online has an actual chart of what the percentage is in terms of increased HP and damage and whatnot. But I think me and Nick had hit Torment 6 at one point. I think we were playing on Torment 6, and even on Torment 6 we were starting to get kind of okay at it. But I just had it on 4 because, hey, we're showing off the game, right? Not showing off some skills at this point. Not that I'm particularly skilled at this, but it's been yeah, it's been really cool. It's been really, really cool playing this again. I'm really happy to have done that. You know, to revisit this, kind of see some of the extra story stuff, which it was honestly okay, right? But it's all the extra gameplay side of things, the replayability, having these extra little side quests, and just more to do and more, you know, more neat stuff available overall. I think they've drastically changed this game since launch, and I think that's been for the best because, yeah, I've put a lot of time into it, obviously, as you saw at the very beginning, and just running around doing these side things and starting to explore a bit deeper with, you know, these key guys, these key wardens, and fancy other portals, fancy other crafting things you can build, and building up some neat amulets and special sockets and so on and so forth. Yeah, it feels like I've hit kind of the end game though, but on the other hand, with a new season coming out, it does give you a nice refresher where obviously some stuff does carry over from the looks of it, not a whole lot, but just enough to make it worthwhile to, you know, go back and replay through every time, because once you do switch over that character to kind of a standard character, all the really cool exotic stuff you found, you can keep piling them on and making, you know, a really crazy fun standard character, if you will, that's outside of the seasons. So there's still some use to that. There's still some, you know, bonuses to actually going out and playing this every season, even if you don't necessarily care about the leaderboards per se. But having said that, I think that's all I can think of at this point. It's a fun game. It's a really fun game. And I'd say if you were at all a fan of Diablo 2, maybe you weren't necessarily impressed or convinced about this new one, I'd say go back, give it a try. If you've not played it since all the updates and added content and so on, you know, at least pick up the expansion. Yeah, I believe you do need the expansion for some of the bounties and things like that. So, you know, pick it up for the $30 or whatever it goes for when it's on sale, and go through another playthrough, or just fire up the seasonal mode instead, because you also have the choice for that, right? If you want to do the normal campaign, adventure mode is where it's at, and yeah, start cranking up the difficulty. You'll very quickly find yourself bumping it up at a fairly regular pace as you go through and get those bounties, upgrade your equipment and whatnot. And as you go up in difficulty, it does get quite a bit more challenging, but also quite a bit more fun. Anywho, running out of ideas, so we'll probably end it here with another video, and hopefully I get this uploaded for Tuesday, seeing as I am recording this a bit later than usual. Having said that, this is Mike here, and I'll see you guys next time.